Today we'll be taking a look at rebar calculation. So the topic that we'll be taking a closer look at is how do we use the lock and unlock function, and under what circumstances we would use it for. Now typically we will not touch this lock and unlock function, which can be found actually inside here. Under the draw tab, inside the element and entity, you can find the lock and unlock tab. Just click on this drop down menu, you'll have access to everything. Now what is this actually used for? Now essentially is if you lock a specific entity, so for example if I were to lock this particular beam here, if I were to lock it, this would then display in a hatches display instead of a solid display. What this does is that even if you change the rebar information in your attribute editor now, so for example if we remove this and I recalculate it, the quantities of this specific locked entity will not change. So for example, you can still see C-25 here. Okay, everything will not actually change even though I have modified the information. So once again, if I were to change this to just remain it as 3T25 from the bottom bar, and I were to calculate it, once I click and check my rebar information, for my bottom bar I still have T30. Now why is this information important? For certain quantities inside, especially for rebar, there will be scenarios where you need to make certain small adjustments. So for example, if you like to change the actual length itself, maybe due to some specific engineer's design, rebar arrangements, you will need to change the specific lengths inside here. Now what you will need to do is, I'm just going to unlock this first. So once you've unlocked it, this is how your entity will typically look like. Just click onto it. You can then change actually the lengths of each rebar. You can even change the shape of each rebar. So once you've modified this, so for example I would put this as, let's say, 6000, right? And I want to keep my information here. However, if I were to just leave it as it is and I just gonna recalculate it, my quantities will then reset according to what I have inside the attribute editor. Just close this first. So as you can see, it doesn't actually retain the information that I've changed. In order to retain the changes that I've made, so for example if I were to change this top bar into, let's say, 3000, like so, and I don't want it to reset anymore, all I need to do after I've changed it is right click and click on the lock function. Actually you can't find it inside here. You can just go ahead and click on this button and lock it, and there you go. Once it's locked, no matter how much you've changed the information inside attribute editor, so for example if I put this to T40 for my top continuous bar and I recalculate it, whatever changes I made will still remain inside the information here. And that is how you utilize the lock and unlock